Leaders in Learning is sponsored by CapEd Credit Union.
I don't want a kid here to feel like, oh, you can't do something, but instead you can. If you don't know it, you just don't know it yet.
Well, a small school with a big opportunity here. CBS 2's Abigail Taylor shows us how a Marsing elementary teacher is on a mission to make sure that his students are never falling behind. That's in this week's Leaders in Learning.
In a rural town like Marsing, things are just a little bit calmer, happening at a slower pace. But don't think for a second, students here are behind the times. Students at this little school are getting their hands on some big technology.
Like, some schools don't really even have tech. Like, there used to not even be tech, and then they would just have to go to like one schoolhouses, and it's like boring.
John Barenberg has been teaching here for 30 years. And while the technology has changed over time, his mindset hasn't.
It's so different. Actually, when I started here, believe it or not, I started out using Commodore 64 computers. And I would go and get to these stores and get public domain software like Oregon Trail and put on it. So even back 30 some years ago, I was trying to get tech going with kids. So by the time they're out in the workforce, they know about using computers and they understand VR, and they're ready to tackle the world and whatever it brings.
And Mr. Barenberg knows that when it comes to learning, the magic happens when students are just having fun.
It's like a toys. It's just toys that you're playing around with, but you're learning stuff in your head. You just think it's a toy outside your mind.
In Marsing, Abigail Taylor, CBS 2 News.
Well, funding for this technology came largely from the STEM Action Center, a state department that's funded through state tax dollars.